Dear audience, dear viewers, welcome to a second episode of the Expert Talks, the podcast by devicenow. Here we explore the trends that shape the future of digital work. My name is Christine Werstedt and I'm your host today. I'm happy to be here. But first things first, a warm welcome to my guests. Dr. Steffen Reichmann, Managing Director at devicenow.
Thanks for having me, Tina.
And Lars Ole Ollum, Vice President, Partner Business Development at Techstep.
Hello, Tina. Glad to be here.
Thank you. Last time we talked about aspects of IT security. Today's topic lies in the experience of everybody. So we want to talk about IT consumerization. Let me give you an example. Think about your favorite application. When you think about your app, it's fast, it's intuitive, and it's always on. And now let's come to the all-important question. Does your company's IT feel the same? My both guests have actually worked together on a joint solution. Both of them and their teams tackled exactly this challenge. But before we dive into the topic, let me ask a more personal question. So, Steffen, what is your favorite application?
I wouldn't say I really have this one special app that I love the most, but I can tell you how I caught fire for the topic as such. So when I lived in the Nordics a bit more than 10 years ago, my day-to-day life was so much easier, right? So when I went to dinner with friends, someone would just pay the bill, and then you just swipe over the money to your friend like this, really, like this literally. And even on the streets, you could buy those street papers from the homeless just via app, via mobile phone. Right, so everything was super easy to do, very convenient, and I loved it. And then I moved back to Germany and I realized life can also be less convenient in other countries. And since then, I was really striving for this simplicity in my daily life that I found back then.
Thank you. Lars Ole, we're currently recording the podcast in Berlin. You're from Norway. So how are you experiencing Berlin these days?
I first of all, I also like to mention my favorite app.
Of course, please
It's actually a weather app that we have in Norway called YR. And I think every Norwegian check this more than one time every day. And so we are extremely interested in the weather. But about Berlin, it's first time here. It's a bit ashamed to say that, but it's really a lovely city. And I moved around here yesterday, see all the very nice buildings. I saw the Hofs that I really liked here, had lunch there. But at the same time, I realized that I did something I haven't done in 5 years, and that was using an ATM. I had to get cash, and that was, but I was fine also.
Okay, yeah, that's how it works in Berlin.
Yeah.
That's true. So let's dive into the topic, guys. So why is, in your opinion, IT consumerization such a hot topic right now?
I wouldn't really say it's a hot topic now. I would really say it's been a very relevant topic for many, many years. So going back to what Lars just said, and also my own experience from other countries, the simplicity and doing everything via your mobile phone or via apps that has been around in many countries for quite some time. But I think it has now really gained momentum in other countries as well, right? Because just look at Netflix or look at Spotify, which, by the way, is my favorite app. It's just so easy and so many people using it. So everyone is just used to it from their private life. And now people started wondering, if I have this in my private life, why can't I have this in my professional life? And this is why this is such a hot topic, really.
Yeah, I agree with Steffen, and I think it has been around for a while. And I think that in Norway, for example, it has been around all the time since the mobile phone came. As employees in Norway, they never had two phones, and so they always expected, and it was owned by the company, so they expected the same experience like they were used to in the private life, also on the mobile. But it has evolved. You get the banking applications, for example, the mobile banking, and you have the tax return. All of this is digitized. So I think it's evolved over time, but has become, like Steffen says, even increasingly more hot now.
And I think this is a super important point, because if you think of tax returns or banking apps, this is really sensitive topics,
Yeah,
right?
indeed.
But people just, they transfer money with a click on a button, because they just trust that it will do the right thing, and it's also so simple to use. So I really think using such apps for transactions, which are really critical in your private life, really shows that people adapted, that this is really something they want to have all around, not just privately.
You already named the keyword or the keywords user experience. So from what you both see, where does companies struggle when trying to deliver excellent user experience?
I think it took a while for them to embrace the idea that user experience is something relevant, really to take seriously. And what I see a lot when I talk to customers is that they basically try to provide a nice front end, right? User interface, whatever, on a broken process, right? So just imagine using Spotify and you just say, play me 90s rock music. Then you press play and then you hear the Backstreet Boys, right? So a nice interface as such is not enough. It also needs to do what it's supposed to do in the background, right? It doesn't just need to feel good, it needs to be good. And this is something where the companies often struggle to really go all in with this idea.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it's also about compliance issues that they are facing, creating the user experience, and also the devil is really in the details. When it comes to, that's something that we have experienced. I think that, for example, moving a device from one user to another, changing the name, location, department where that belongs, it seems so easy. But it's quite complex if you look on the backend systems that need to play together in order to create that user experience.
Guys, let's take a quick step back. So when we think about IT and how it looked a few years ago, just to give you a few examples, like email-based requests, manual approvals, long waiting times, what do you think, how far do we have come? And do you still see sometimes the old IT mindset?
Yeah, I think so, and we still see it. For example, it's an example from the hospitals that we see when the doctors are moving around in the hallway with their phones. They don't really have the integrated phone books yet, so they ask each other for the phone number added into their phone book. So that's pretty old, I guess, but there are coming new applications there. And from the approval part, I think, both for purchasing and for ordering, it's still so many people that need to approve everything, and even there are digital possibilities to empower people to approve themselves.
And I would also say, from what we do, what we see the most is manual, very old school processes, especially when it comes to procurement and approvals. So you would still see large companies, renowned brands, multinational, still having approval forms on paper that you would need to sign with ink, right? And then they will just travel through the building to make sure all the signatures are collected. And we still see this today, even if they just want to order 1, 2, 3, whatever iPhones, right? So very complicated, very tedious, and very old school processes. So yes, I would say we see this more often than not.
Interesting point. Earlier we talked about your favorite apps. Let's talk about the App Store experience. What can enterprise IT actually learn from it?
I think it's about simplicity, the user experience, the personalized applications you get when you get into the App Store and you download it. So I think it's very much there with the easiness.
Yeah, and I would also say simplicity. It's not a luxury thing to do. It's really a necessity these days. Right? People are so used to find simple solutions. You open your phone, you click, and something happens in the real world, right? So, and this is what everyone is used to, and this is what people expect. And I would say this is not just a nice to have, but this is really something you must have, because first of all, people expect it. You want your employees to feel empowered. You want your employees to be happy, right? But it also brings a lot of efficiencies, because if people can just help themselves by clicking a button, then you don't need to maintain a huge process and a lot of overhead to just fix simple problems. So I really think this idea of simplicity makes things faster. I think this is really what enterprises can learn.
Yeah, and I also think I would like to follow up with an example therefore about training new employees, like the one customers that we have with around 30,000 employees. Half of them are part-time employees. It's in with the retail and this kind of thing, and you need to onboard them very fast. So it's really creating a lot of efficiency to have a good experience for downloading an app, and they get trained immediately.
Yeah, and especially when you talk about remote locations, and we also see this a lot, I would say all of our customers require that we ship devices to home office locations, that we swap them next business day home office locations, which is also something which is just a standard now these days, and also something you just need to be able to provide. Right? This is not like a fancy perk, but this is really the bread and butter these days.
I spoiled earlier about your joint activities, but please tell me about it and tell me about the partnership between devicenow and Techstep and how come, and most important, what's the value of it?
Many questions at a time. Let me start with the history. So the credit isn't mine for this, but the credit is actually Arthur's. Arthur is our head of product development and pricing. So
hi to Arthur.
And when we created the company devicenow a couple of years ago, our approach was to make it as simple as possible for the customer. So in the background, there's a lot of logistics, a lot of global solutions, a lot of complicated things to be done. But for the user, it should feel simple and it should be simple, right? And we were looking for a software partner and a service partner who would complement this with the Lifecycle Portal. Actually also makes it super easy for the user and therefore for the customer to consume our services. So Arthur was screening the market, spoke to a lot of guys, looked at a lot of solutions, and one day he came to me and say, "Okay, Stefan, we can stop searching. We're done." And the rest is history, as they say. I was not surprised that it was a Nordics company, obviously, given that they are just a lot ahead in the curve. But when we first met in Oslo, it was really love at first sight, and never regretted it ever since, I'd say.
No, I totally agree, Stefan. I think it's a match made in heaven, and I think the background for it a bit is that we have a long experience in handling devices, delivering to customers in the Nordic. They are workforce, they're expensive, so we can't have people running around managing IT for purpose. So we need to digitize the processes, both for us internally and also externally. So therefore we have developed the system to support it. But it's not so many people living in the Nordics, and also I met Arthur, talked to Arthur, and he told me about what you are doing and the distribution that you actually deliver all over the world. And it was really too good to be true in a way. And some of our the producers of the devices that we talked to also, they couldn't really believe it, that it was actually true. And we sit down with them, and when they saw it, they were so impressed. And I think that also now this is the global responsibility in a way. What we saw, that we could do this together, because when you have customers with devices all over the world, and it's now actually it's shortage, so metal for the phones and so on, you need to get it back again. Therefore we saw that what we could contribute and help you with there at the same time that you could help all the customers, it was really a good match. Yeah. And we liked each other also personally very, very well, all of us.
Yeah, this is a bonus. Yeah, and also to just briefly give you an idea of what is really the value add from a user point of view. We spoke a lot about user experience and simplicity, and the beauty of the Lifecycle Portal is you open it, and you don't need anybody to explain it to you, right? You see what are the devices I ordered, who's the user currently using it, when was it put into rent, what's the remaining lifetime, am I due to return it, if I have not returned it, where is it, how long is it overdue? It's a lot of information at a glance, very, very easy to understand, and I've not seen this anywhere else in the market. And I've seen a lot of software solutions, but I haven't seen it that easy anywhere else.
Would you say that hybrid and remote work were catalysts when it comes to the experience of users?
Yeah, most definitely. So I guess you all can relate, but when you were asked to work from home from one day to the other when COVID kicked in, no one was really prepared for it, and you were confronted with a lot of questions you never asked yourself. Some of them are very personal, like, oh, how do I manage that with the kids? And some others are more technical and professional. And it definitely changed the way we all work and our understanding of what work life could be. And I think it changed for good. I really don't think that this will ever go back to the old full office culture. So I think the demands we're seeing make sure people are equipped at home. They're able to help themselves. There is no IT guy living ground floor. So this has come to stay, and you just need to find solutions for it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think this out-of-the-box experience that we talk about, that is so important. And it's the devices are owned by the company. You have a responsibility on both sides, but still you need to have the device and when you use it, feel a bit like it's your personal space as well. And many only have one device. It's a laptop. You use it both, maybe private and personal. It's the same for the tablet. It's the same for the mobile phone. And then it comes with compliance issues, security issues, cybersecurity, this mobile threat defense and other cybersecurity policies and profiles that you should have in when you open it, to make sure that people are not surfing, for example, in places you don't really like them to surf and so on, so on the web. So yeah, I think it really changed a lot.
Yeah, and I also think it has a cultural aspect to it, right? So as people are really used to be able to work from home, it has a lot of benefits, but obviously they don't really see the classic office environment. So it's more difficult to involve them into the company culture, right? Having them really closely tied to their colleagues. But out there is, right, a war for talent. So you want to attract talent, you want to keep the talent in the company. So you want to make sure that even if they work in remote locations and they might not be as closely tied to the other colleagues as they would be in an office environment, you want to make sure they feel seen, they feel taken care of, and they get the same good experience that the colleagues in the office get, right? So I think this is really something important, also from an employer point of view.
Yeah, not just the connection, not just the technical connection, also a connection between people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Let's look ahead. Take the position of a thought leader, guys. So what will be the look and feel of IT in 5 years?
So I think the hardware as such won't really change that much, right? So there will still be screens and some sort of hardware that you can touch and use. So I don't think this aspect will change that dramatically. But I really think that those two great topics of AI and cybersecurity, they play a great deal going forward. They're taken more and more seriously, and they should be taken more seriously, which then means that just the provision of hardware, according to latest security standards, should be a commodity. And it should be very, very easy and low maintenance for the companies, because they want to discuss their cybersecurity strategies, how they can leverage AI for their business. So really, hardware provision, lifecycle management should be something which more or less is done on the side by people who are specialized in that.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think that you would even see even a more distributed workforce. They will have higher expectations because it's just evolving. AI is coming in. People are expecting more and more. You might see it's easier for people to churn, or not to churn, but to move around in companies, because it's, with all this also come, in a sense, a backside to it, if you could say, because it's so easy to get started maybe in a new company. But then it's a culture part that Stefan mentioned is so important, will be even more important to build, I think. And from 5 years, you will have this generation shift in people where, for example, we see in the oil and gas industry that we serve. You have a lot of experts work there for so many years. But now we have a whole new generation of people that don't have the same experience, and you have to onboard them, and it will require quite a lot to some years down time to onboard all those new talents.
We have to come to an end. But last but not least, I have one question. I'm interested in your personal advice to IT leaders. What is, in your opinion, the most important tip when it comes to the topic IT consumerization?
My advice would be bold. Don't try to present a modern user experience based on legacy systems which are just not meant for it. If you want to provide something great, just come with a solution which is meant to provide this great experience from the start, and just don't tweak what you have just because you always had it.
Yeah, and my advice will be then to empower the employees to make sure that they have all the tools, all they need in order to make the best out of what they really are supposed to do, and so I think that's my advice.
Lars Ole, Steffen, it was a pleasure. Thanks a lot for having you. Thanks a lot for this smart and interesting conversation. I think it's clear that IT consumerization brings a mindset shift, not just for employees, but also for companies. Dear audience, if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share it. We'll be back soon with new expert talks. Hopefully, until next time, take care and stay curious.